I'm here with TaNayha and Mike Turner, and TaNayha is in her home in Florida, and Mike is in his home in Alabama, sweet home Alabama. So how's the weather down there in Alabama?
It is very sultry today. When I got up about 8 o'clock, and it was already in the mid-80s, probably humidity in the mid-80s.
Yeah, and TaNayha, how's it in Florida? It's probably pretty hot down there right now, huh?
Yeah, we're getting up in the 90s every day.
Oh.
Same scenario.
Yeah.
Central Florida.
Yeah, it's supposed to go up in the high 70s today, like 79 up here in Pennsylvania. So we get a little bit of relief, but I'm sure we're going to be hitting the 90s pretty soon. All right, so anyway, we'll get started with the interview. I'm going to start with Mike. Tell me a little bit about how you wrote your first song and how long ago it was, how old you were. And
Well, I grew up in a very musical family. I've got aunts and uncles that are actually pretty well known in gospel music circles, but I had never done anything except, like almost all guys my age growing up in the 60s and 70s, I played some pretty mediocre guitar. And when I went to college, I threw it in the closet, and that was the end of it. So then for the next 30 odd years, I worked and did nothing musically. And when I retired, and this would have been in 2007, I started looking for things to do to supplement my sailing, which is really what I was doing a lot of when I first retired. And I took a ukulele course, and the ukulele course was in 2012, so it's been 10 years ago. And by the second week of that class, I had written my first song. And the song was kind of a humorous blues song about how I came to play the ukulele. And so I wrote that little song and I played it for the ukulele class the next week, and they really liked it. And that got me going, and it took off from there. So this marks 10 years now that I've been writing songs, and I just was counting the other night. I just passed my 161st song that I've written, with more in the works.
All right, way to go, Mike. What were you feeling when you wrote the song Love Will Save the World? That's the one that we're talking about today.
Well, and this is an interesting song for me because it's the first song, Taylor, that you and I really collaborated on when you were first forming the label. And you had written the music, you had composed the music and laid down a track, and you asked me to take a listen to it to see what it might suggest to me in terms of lyrics. And right away, the Love Will Save the World tag came to me, and it just kind of took off from there. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about the message of the song, but to me, that was the message, that war and all of our divisions are fueled by fear and by hate. And love can overcome all of that. Love will overcome all of that. And that's what the song is about for me.
Yeah, we took a slightly different approach. Normally, when I write songs, I don't know about you, but when I write them and I'm collaborating with somebody, they usually write the lyrics first and then I put music to it. In this case, it was a slightly different scenario where I wrote the music first and then you were able to put the lyrics to it. So I think it came together pretty fast that way. So, that might be...
The song did come together pretty fast. And like you, I normally start with the words and then think about the composition later on. Mm-hmm. So this was very different for me, and it was a real good exercise for me to start with the music and see what it suggested to me in terms of lyric and message, as opposed to doing it the other way around. And I don't remember for sure, but I think we actually had the basic lyric within a matter of weeks, with one exception. What we have referred to as the rap section of the song took a long time to put together, not because we didn't have something. I wrote something in the very beginning, but we never intended to use it. It was a filler until we could come up, really, we wanted to find an artist that would write something personal and put in that space, and we were never able to make that happen, so we wound up using pretty much the basic lyric that we started.
One of the issues that I ran into trying to find a rapper is most rappers want to do their own thing, like they just want to do stuff that they wrote themselves. And I couldn't find anybody that wanted to do a rap on something somebody else wrote. We started with one that was supposed to rewrite the rap for us and then do the rap. You remember that situation? And something happened there where that never happened. And then we tried a few other people and just couldn't seem to get anybody. So we had to make...
Well, and one of the other things that happened there, if you'll remember, was that, and clearly I'm not a rap writer or a rap artist, and you aren't either. And rap is I'm very interested in rap. I see it as a progression beyond the blues because of the way that rap and hip hop have developed out of the blues. It's a very personal style of writing and expression. And one of the other things that we ran into is that a couple of people that gave us some potential rap lyrics, it was very personal centric. It wasn't so much on the message of world peace and world love. It was more personalized, and we felt that it took the song in a different direction that we wanted to go. It's a very valid part. It just didn't seem right for what we were trying to do with the message here.
TaNayha, what did you like about the song that made you want to record it?
It's interesting. When we were first working on it, I really loved the message, of course, that Mike had put in the song, and I really also love the bluesy feel. That's one of the styles that I really enjoy singing, and so I love the message, because if we can just lay down our strife, lay down all of the hate, lay down all of that fear, we can actually change the world one person at a time. And I think that's really why I wanted to record the song, because I want to help get that message out there that it starts with us. It starts with just one person. And if one person can start that chain reaction to be loving, to just live a loving life and live in peace, because peace brings about joy, and then you get love. So love can save the world if we just choose love. And we have to be willing to choose that.
Mike, what do you feel is the biggest takeaway from your song?
Well, first of all, I think of it as our song. But it's a lot of what TaNayha was just saying. And I build on that I do think, as you said, TaNayha, that we start one person at a time. But as more of us link together and come together, love becomes a building and growing power. And that's how I see it. We have the power to change things if we just reach out to each other and connect and build ourselves as a community with a common purpose. And here the common purpose is, let's end the wars, let's end all this strife, let's come together for each other and with each other in love. And that's the way we'll make the world go forward.
TaNayha, what's your vision of world peace for the future?
Well, I was thinking about that, Taylor, and it's this whole thing. I keep going back to Ukraine. War is a bad thing. I'm going to quote you, Taylor, and someday maybe we'll have to interview you about war is a bad thing. But it's true. I mean, Ukraine, these people are dealing with a guy who is just greedy and just doesn't really care about anyone else. He cares about his own agendas. These people are being terrorized, and he doesn't love them. He's not living a loving life at all. And so my vision is just that if we can just keep one person at a time, get that message out there that, like I said, it starts with us. It starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with our families and our children, teaching them. I just recently became a grandmother.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I want my grandson to grow up and love people and care about other people. So that is how we need to get world peace. That's the only way we can get world peace, is to do that and to practice that ourselves. Like you were just saying, Mike, you're absolutely right. Like, we need to practice being a loving person, living a loving life, living in peace with one another, regardless of our politics, our political party, our ethnicity, whatever it is, all of that. We need to come together, and that does start a chain reaction. I believe that we can definitely achieve it if we are just willing to do that.
Right, and I've found that just the influence of being around others that are on the same page and want world peace, it made it easier for me to do that with, to internalize it myself too, because I find that I'm gearing myself more towards loving and peace more so than I did before this whole project started. Like you say, all it takes is just one person to tell two people, and then each of those people to tell two people, and each of those to tell two people. And it can multiply and eventually spread throughout the world. Mike, what's your vision about world peace?
It seems to me that war is really kind of driven by a relatively few number of people. There's the political leaders and oligarchs at the top, and the people that are greedy for power and greedy for resources and greedy for money, and they're doing it for themselves. And that's a relatively small number of people as opposed to the billions and billions of us who are out here that don't want war. And all we want to do is live our lives and be prosperous and be free and leave the world a little bit better for our children and our grandchildren and the people that will come behind us. So it seems to me that if the billions and billions of us that feel that way can come together as a force and a power, that's going to overcome that little group of people that are in it for themselves and in it for their own purposes that really aren't what we're interested in having for our lives and for the lives of everybody in the world.
TaNayha, do you want to add any other comments to that?
I just think that Mike's absolutely right. Like, there are more of us who want peace in our lives. We just want to live our life in harmony and not have to worry about our house being blown up or our children, having to go to war and be killed. I'm working on another song with Danny Wealthy, and we'll talk about that one later on when we record that, but it's really bad. It's really hard on people just because of a few. And I think that if we would pay attention and we would understand that we do have a voice, if we come together, we will have a big voice and say, enough is enough. We want to live our lives in a peaceful manner, with freedom, because people fought for our freedom here in this country and abroad. People died for freedom. And it's just a shame what's going on over there in Ukraine right now.
Mike, do you have anything you want to add before we go?
I want to come back to the song for a minute.
Okay.
To touch on something that TaNayha mentioned earlier about how she enjoyed and was attracted to the bluesy aspect of this song. And I want to look at that from the other direction. We struggled for a long time to find artists to record this track. And we went through a couple of other vocalists for the female portion of the song that, for various reasons, again, it just didn't come together. And TaNayha, you added so much to the song with your vocals, with your delivery, with the feeling that you invested it with when you recorded it. It really turned into something beyond what we were, certainly what I was hoping for in it. And I've got to say, too, I never intended to be a recording artist on this song. I laid down an initial demo just so Taylor could hear how I envisioned the lyric molding into the music he had already composed. And we kept working on that demo and sharing it with other artists. And in the end, TaNayha, once we had your vocal, Taylor, you were so supportive in finally convincing me that we could go with one of the versions that I had recorded. Partly because once we heard you, TaNayha, singing it, we really wanted the song to be released. This song had been in the catalog for a long time. It is the first thing, Taylor, that you and I worked on. So that takes us back into 2020, and it came out like late last year, I think. But you just added so much to it. You really took it beyond what I think our expectations were for it, and I really thank you for that. And I hope people hear that when they listen to the track.
Yeah, TaNayha was just what it needed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I really enjoyed working on the song. I really enjoyed it. And it actually came to me pretty easily. I didn't have to do a whole lot. I just heard what I felt like it needed to have. And like, I love the bluesy style. I've done a couple other things that are more in that genre. And I think that my voice, it kind of fits that bluesy style. So I really had fun with it. But it was the first time I got to harmonize with myself, which was pretty interesting. Kind of awkward too, but if I'm honest. Yeah, but it was really a fun song to work with as well. But it's a great song, and thank you guys for writing it. Because without the song, I wouldn't have been able to do the vocals. So awesome, and that rap part was great. I love it. Love the telephone effects, Taylor.
That was actually Mike's idea.
But you made it happen. I could hear it in my head, and I had no idea, production-wise, how you were going to make it work. And it really worked great.
And I really liked your baritone voice in there. I know you were kind of reluctant to do the rap section there, but I thought, if we can't get a rapper, we could probably do something like Big Bad John from back in the, I think it was the early 60s or late 50s or something like that. But that was like probably the first spoken word song that I had ever heard. And, it was, you have that kind of voice. And I thought, well, maybe we could just do something like that instead of like a regular rap artist. And
I'll tell you, part of my inspiration for that in the end goes all the way back to Hank Williams. Because I'm a big Hank Williams fan, Hank Williams Sr. And he had an alter ego that he recorded under called Luke the Drifter, which was a lot of, it's somewhat gospel and it's somewhat inspirational, but it's spoken. And so if you go on YouTube and you just search Luke the Drifter, you'll find his recordings. And that really was what I started to think about when I finally committed myself to saying, okay, I guess I'm really doing this. So now we got to make it work.
Yeah. All right, well, let's let the people watching this video listen to the song. I'm going to play it right now.
Looking round to see where we can find peace.
World is full of raging war. Don't know what we're fighting for.
There's a better way to come to peace today.
Cast off politics and hate. Recognize our common fate.
Love, 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 love will save the world. Love, 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 love will save the world. And our wars and strife, live a loving life.
Rid ourselves of doubts and fears. Join as good friends close and dear.
Make world peace a fact. It's up to us to act.
Come together all as one. Love and peace for everyone.
Love, 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 love will save the world. Love, 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 love will save the world.
We the people here do say, now's the dawn of a new day. Join with us now, hand in hand, across our walls, beliefs and lands. Peace is like a sheltering tree, with each of us as that tree's seed. Show the world what can be done, love and peace for everyone.
Love, 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 love will save the world.
Love will save the world, love will save the world.
love to save the world.